Hello everybody, and
Hello.
hello Mr. Ari. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you today. So once again, I have to appeal to your professional instincts, professional knowledge, because you are the one who is doing it very good, very good. Probably you are one of the best who picks up the interesting topics.
Again, you are the doctor, I'm the journalist, so...
That's why I want you to help me from the journalist standpoint.
Okay, so I believe we never talked about the topic of how to prevent any kind of kidney disease. Unfortunately, very often people realize it is a serious issue only when they get this problem. You know?
Yeah, that's correct.
So I hope today we will talk about how to prevent it in the first place, how not to get into serious issues. I understand that the first probably step is like, again, check with your own doctor if you suspect, but how do you suspect any symptoms and what should be done to prevent any kind of...
Basically, probably kidney disease is kind of much more easy to prevent, because there are some very valuable clues that can warn you in advance.
Like?
Now, first of all, let's begin with basic facts. Basic facts are when the lab shows that there is a kidney problem, it's kind of late.
You mean you're talking about blood test?
Blood test, right? Okay, that's kind of late. So the goal is to start thinking about preventing kidney disease years before the blood test.
Years or months?
Years.
Wow.
Because listen, kidney disease, in order to get kidney damage, is two kidneys. So you need to damage them to the extent that you know that's almost everything is gone. It takes a while. It's not months. Usually, not all the time. Sometimes.
So why it's happening? You're talking about lifestyle, you're talking about food, you're talking about something else?
It's about basic knowledge, because what we need to do is to figure out what's the main causes of kidney disease, and one of the number one is diabetes.
So they're interrelated.
Yeah, because the sugar damages kidneys. Second is, I don't know exactly the frequency, but diabetes is almost for sure number one. The high blood pressure and kidney stones.
So, but each one have different roots, like.
Okay, but if somebody knows, usually they know that they have diabetes years before they have the kidney damage.
So they have to check every time.
Yeah. So basically, if somebody knows that if he has diabetes, he has to take care of that, you know, it's a very good point. It can prevent him from going to dialysis if diabetes is controlled. So basically, what they need to do is to make sure that sugar is controlled. And you know my standpoint. No sugar, no diabetes, you know. How can sugar go up if you don't put it in your mouth?
But at the same time, I know that we talked about it before, but people with diabetes, if there is no sugar, then sometimes they get into trouble, so...
I'm sorry?
They're getting into trouble if they have diabetes, and no sugar, no nothing. Sometimes they have even candy with them because...
Well, that's because they're on medications.
Correct.
Whatever I say applies to everybody who is not taking medications. If somebody is taking medications, those ideas do not apply. Do not apply, basically, because what happens is that if somebody takes blood-lowering medication, what happens is they have to take food. So I try always to get rid of sugar before patients are already on insulin or some kind of sugar medication.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because as soon as somebody on sugar-lowering medications, what happens is sugar goes down. Patient wants to eat as soon as...
Vicious cycle.
Yeah, vicious cycle. He wants to eat, he eats, blood sugar goes up, they increase the dose of the... so that's forever. So whoever is taking medications, don't even think about going without sugar, because it might cost you
life. That's why I intervened. So, but now I know diabetes. People on diabetes should be very, very careful with. Everybody should be careful with sugar, but like.
So basically, just get.
But diabetes could lead to much even bigger problems, you know, like with kidneys.
Basically, what it does, it damages all vessels. It's heart disease, strokes, eye disease, is the leading cause of blindness in the United States.
Wow. Diabetes and blindness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, diabetes is the main cause of blindness in the United States.
I didn't know.
No, that's very interesting thing. And the kidney problem, yeah, because kidneys stop working, because all the whatever needs circulation is going to be damaged, like retina, kidney, heart, peripheral vessels like legs, etc., etc. So that's number one.
Okay.
Second one is high blood pressure. The same thing, damages circulation.
Yeah, it's also a very common problem. A lot of people have this issue. Not all of them have kidney problems, but a lot of people have.
Yeah, but eventually, high blood pressure damages, and you just think of it like a plumber. I don't want to be a plumber, but just think it like a plumber. If you have a hose and you put too much pressure all the time, what will happen to the hose? Eventually, it will break. Right? The same thing is here. So you can't apply too much pressure all the time. So basically what I suggest, I told you there are three main reasons of high blood pressure. Salt, obesity, and heavy metals. That's three things. So basically the heavy metals are kind of tricky, so without special tests you can't even think about it, just diagnosing or treating. But salt, come on. You can do it.
You can control.
You can do it. You can control. Just stop eating salty things. Just control what the salt you take. Try to.
So salt has a direct influence, direct connection to the kidney condition.
Of course, because as soon as the blood pressure goes up, obesity, weight reduction, and that's very important. And by the way, it's very interesting. But I just read a study. Quite not that recent, but recent, that the combination of salt, sugar, and fat is as addictive as cocaine. So basically, that's basically what we talked about. Salt, high blood pressure, fat is obesity, and sugar is diabetes. So basically, all those three factors together, when they are together, it's as addictive as cocaine.
And you mentioned third reason for
heavy metals. Heavy metals is mainly mercury. Mercury, it comes from either amalgams or fish or some other stuff.
How can you prevent this?
What you need to do, first of all, what I did, I will tell you what I did. I got rid of amalgam fillings, and I stopped eating fish that is has high content of mercury.
How can you check every fish?
You can do it, but there are the general rules. The smaller the fish is, the less likely it will have mercury. So basically, the safest fish is like a trout, catfish.
What about snapper?
Branzini, no, snapper is no. Branzini, wild Alaskan salmon is pretty good.
Popular.
Yeah, but wild Alaskan is very expensive, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's not the farm-raised salmon. It's not farm-raised. It's wild Alaskan salmon.
Wild Alaskan.
Wild in Alaska, yeah. It's
kind of
maybe
that's expensive.
2 to 3 times as expensive.
That's not regular, yeah.
No, it's like 2 to 3 times as expensive.
So what you're saying, people should eat small and expensive fish?
Small and expensive fish. The smaller the fish is, the less likely it has mercury. And basically, that's a common sense. The more fish gains weight, the more mercury it consumes.
I will ask you one more question. None of the 3 things you mentioned includes one thing I've heard also. What about very popular, especially among immigrants from the Eastern Europe? Kolbasa, all kinds of like sausages, kolbasas, all kinds of smoked meat, etc., etc.
Basically, the answer is very simple. It's all the cured and this brined meat. So it's cured meat, curing process involves a lot of cancerogenic materials. So
I've heard it badly affects kidney.
I don't know about kidneys exactly, but what I do know is kalbasa contains a lot of salt. This is for sure.
That's what.
Yeah, this is for sure. Salt, yes, for sure. Curing substances,
Maybe fat.
cancer, okay. Fat, weight.
So that's why.
So it's kind of indirect effect.
Because it's very popular among Eastern Europeans, you know. Like
well, not in my house, you know.
not in your house.
Not on my table.
But in general, immigrants from like
basically,
Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Poland, we love all of this stuff.
I do kolbasa myself.
Oh?
Yeah, but
you make it.
Yeah, I make it, but it doesn't have any curing substances, and there's no salt in it.
Oh.
I just make a kolbasa and dry it, and there's no salt in it.
So you're saying it's happening only because of some components of this kolbasa and this sausage. What about sausages, hot dogs, etc.?
The same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, salt. If you eat a hot dog, you know, you can
Daily.
feel it. You can feel its salt, because salt is a taste enhancer.
Mm-hmm.
Salt is a taste enhancer, so they want to put as much salt as possible, because it makes it tastier. But you don't want it.
So the conclusion is like, be careful when you eat sausages, kolbasa, and hot dogs. If it's too salty.
I wouldn't take them at all. You know?
At all.
Yeah.
So
no.
Stop eating them at all.
Yeah, I don't, unless I make it myself. I try to...
Not everybody makes it.
Come on, that's pretty simple, you know. You can put...
So you're saying do not even... So when you come into the Russian store, for example, or any kind of like a Polish store, or any Eastern European store, and even general supermarket, so many options of kolbasas, and you're saying do not eat it at all, zero, none.
No, not from my standpoint.
Listen, because of salt or because of what? I don't understand.
No, I just told you, it's not only salt, it's curing substances.
It's everything.
They cure it. Yeah. They cure it, they brine, whatever it is, they cure it, they put in the color changing stuff.
Yeah, different colors, of course.
Different colors, and they have curing salt in it, and that's what damages. It's very well known thing that the processed meat is linked to cancer. It's not my opinion, it's kind of widespread opinion.
So if people ignore everything you just said, and as you know, some people have damaged kidneys and go into dialysis, is it any way back now they realize that everything Dr. Kalitenko said or like experts said, and they decided to change everything, their lifestyle, they stop eating all of these products and salt and everything. Is it any way back, or that's all, it's over?
No, look, I hate to say it, but I don't know the way around. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know the way back. And the reason for that is because, as I told you, when the blood test shows kidney damage, it's kind of late. And what happens is, as soon as the kidney, part of the kidney is dead, there is no way to revive it. Unfortunately, kidney tissue does not regenerate. You know, for example, liver, yes, but not kidney.
So you're saying the only way is from dialysis is replacement?
Look, you know, you need to know, because see, diabetes, you can treat that.
Yeah, you told me
or manage that.
Yes.
Years before.
So the whole point
high blood pressure, the same thing. Or let's talk about the third one is kidney stones, because kidney stones,
yes.
Kidney stones is very...
Why people getting kidney stones? Yes.
The reason for that is because most of the kidney stones are made from oxalate.
What is it?
Oxalate. It's a part of the green stuff.
Okay.
Щавель.
Okay.
That's in Russian. It's щавелевая кислота, oxalate.
Now I understand.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it comes from. And what normally happens is that this oxalate is degraded in our gut by bacteria. It's called Oxalobacter formigenes.
Okay.
So normally oxalate does not go in, or almost not going into our system.
Okay.
But if somebody takes an antibiotic like ciprofloxacin or levofloxacin, Cipra, have you heard about Cipra?
Cipra, yes.
Cipra kills this bacteria, Oxalobacter formigenes, and oxalate, instead of being degraded, is reabsorbed, goes to the kidney, and makes kidney stones.
I also heard, is it true that tofu, very popular in the Chinese food, also sometimes if you eat it too much every day, it can create...
I don't know about that, but
true?
once again, normally, oxalate should not go into our system in a significant amount because of that bacteria. But as soon as bacteria is killed, that's it, you're done for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, there is not a single facility on earth producing Oxalobacter formigenes in commercial sizes.
But I did hear about surgical operations when the stones are removed. I've heard about
Well,
it.
that you can remove, but for the removed stone, the new one comes in.
But person already knows what person should eat after that, to change habits,
That's
etc.
not that much can be done. Not that
You
much.
mean even if you remove it, it's still not over? That's what you're saying?
That's because the process is still there. As soon as oxalate keeps coming in.
But if you do not eat certain food, then it's not going to come.
Well, you cannot avoid oxalate altogether.
Why?
Why? Because it's widespread.
eat Chevel.
Chevel contains a lot of oxalate, yes, but there is some oxalate in other products.
Where?
You can't, just greens, mostly greens and the other stuff, but that's something ubiquitous. You can't avoid,
Unavoidable.
which is everywhere. You can avoid to the certain point, not altogether. Okay, and
so you're saying surgical operation is just temporary
of course,
solution?
because the problem is, what is the problem? Because oxalate keeps coming. That's the problem. The only radical
There
solution...
is no way to restore anything. Yeah. What is the radical solution?
No, that's to get Oxalobacter formigenes back, which will prevent oxalate to pile up. But unfortunately, I told you there is no even a single facility on earth that produces it. So basically what we do, we try to help at least a little bit. We are giving high quality of our supplements, our probiotics to patients. Of course, it cannot substitute for Oxalobacter formigenes 100%, but at least it does something.
The more I'm listening, the more I'm convinced that after it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So it's better to prevent it, like you're saying,
right.
years before in terms of like food.
Yeah,
You never mentioned alcohol or anything like this. Does it affect?
Well, alcohol, not to my knowledge directly, at least.
It's not a liver.
This thing is extremely dangerous kidney stone. So basically, what can be done? Try to avoid Cipro. By the way, I had a patient recently. She came to me and with cough, and I said, "What antibiotics can I give you? What do you want to get?" And she said, "There is give me anything except ciprofloxacin." And I said, "Why?" Okay, she said, "That's because I lost my tendon because of the ciprofloxacin." Not everybody knows that Cipro, all the floxins like ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, the side effect is kidney tendon rupture.
Ooh.
So somebody takes Cipro and then decides to run a marathon, it has a very high chance to lose his Achilles tendon. Okay, and this lady, she had trouble, so she said anything but ciprofloxacin.
So you advise people to avoid kidney failure, to check their sugar in blood, to check their blood pressure, to check amount of salt they're taking, and fat, and everything in combination, correct?
Yeah, basically what you have to be in control of what you are eating. If you are not controlling and you allow food industry to do that, you may be in deep trouble.
Okay, you know what to do, how to prevent kidney disease, because again, I learned today a very valuable lesson. It could be very late to do anything when your kidney is affected and kidney failure, so in order to prevent it, not just listen to Dr. Kalitenko, but go to
listen to your common sense,
common sense. Proper food, you know what to eat, what not to eat, and like if it's too much sugar, too much salt, too much fat, and by definition you will get tons of other troubles as well, besides kidney failure, correct?
Yeah.
So I think that's the main conclusion, and I hope it's valuable. Some people think we know about it, but in a way it's better when professional tells you, be careful please, think what you put in your mouth.
Right. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Pretty much it. Thank you, and see you next time.